Ready.
Hi!
It's been quite a long time since we've done one of these. I mean, honestly, Pokemon Generation 1, pretty good stuff. But this one, mm, well, you explain what I mean by
So, if you didn't catch on to what he's talking about, we're going to be talking about Pokemon Generation 2 today,
Yes,
which
it's
was
so good.
it was for those of you who live under a rock. Pokemon Generation 1 is still to this day the highest selling RPG of all time.
How many copies?
Like 20 million, 20, 30 million or something like that.
It's still being sold on the 3DS, and it's being bought en masse right now. So imagine what it is now.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Like the game is huge. It's not my personal favorite RPG of all time or anything, but
No,
Pokemon Gen 1 at the time, very fun game. It was very well received. It sold really well. It put a lot of Game Boys in people's homes, and I think the anime helped with that a lot.
yeah, and I think the fact that also it was such a big game for that kind of console too.
At this point, let's just call a spade a spade. The Pokemon hype was through the roof, right? Like
Yeah,
you couldn't go anywhere without seeing Pokemon anything. Between the anime, the toys, the card game, the main thing, which was the game.
but don't forget that Mewtwo is a sign of of Satan.
Yeah, exactly.
So is Pikachu.
What people don't really seem to understand is Pokemon is mainly a video game franchise. Like
That's weird.
everything comes out based on the generation of video games. Pokemon is a video game franchise first and foremost.
Because that's what's weird, because the anime seems to take higher precedent than the games do now.
It's weird. Well, we'll talk about that at a later time.
Yeah, the problem with Pokemon.
Yeah, we can make a whole video just about the Pokemon problem. We probably just call it that and we'll get like fucking 7,000 views. But
Yeah, I doubt it, but we'll see what happens.
I remember when Pokemon Generation 2 was announced. And I was like, huh? Well, the first thing I remember from Generation 2 was when I watched the movie and I saw Donphan.
And this was year what? What was this? 2099.
Yeah. Yeah, well, because even in the first episode of the anime, Ho-Oh's there, and you're like, who is that?
They were alluding.
Yeah, they knew. They fucking knew. But like you see, like they've been teasing Gen 2 for a long at this point, right? Like
Maybe
they knew they were gonna make a sequel.
you know what? Actually, maybe they originally intended to have the games like incorporate Ho-Oh into the game, like through a event or something.
No,
A
he's just
scratch,
there. He's just there.
understandable. And then there's Togepi, so that was technically in
Yeah,
Gen 2 Pokemon.
Togepi was a big one. Remember Donphan and Snubbull, I think, was in the movie too, and so was Pichu, if I remember correctly.
I know Pichu has the whole like side series.
Yeah, so there was a lot of they were promoting the hell out of Gen 2 within Gen 1 media. So like they knew.
You,
They knew what was going on.
I remember, but I don't. I didn't play Gold or Silver first. I was just told play Red first, then
I
go from
I,
there.
I played Red. I played Red first as well. So
What
like,
sucks is I jumped right to Gen 3 after Gen 1.
oh wow. I did them in order. I'm not a monster.
I went Gen 1, 3, 4, 2. Yeah. 4, 2.
So a big difference right off the bat between Gen 1 and Gen 2, and I'm gonna say this for every game, is there is a different protagonist now.
Mhm.
Each Pokemon game does have a different protagonist.
Gold and Silver, there was only one protagonist,
Until
which was
Crystal, yeah.
yeah,
Ethan, I think his name is officially.
Nathan. Or no,
Ethan.
Brendan. Brendan.
No, that's Ruby. That's Ruby and Sapphire.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I think his name officially is Ethan, but I just call him Gold.
Yeah. I don't really care, honestly.
I mean, it's just he's not a character.
He's you.
Yeah, pretty much. The only Pokemon protagonist that's kind of a character is Red.
Yeah, because he actually appears, and this is like connecting the other, thing.
This is the only Pokemon game too that actually like is basically a direct sequel to the previous one because they reference Gen 1 in here quite a few.
I was gonna say, don't forget Black 2 and
No, I meant separate generations being a direct sequel. Because Black and White 2 is still Gen 5.
Gen 5. Yeah. Okay. Did they add just a few more things in there? That's it.
Yeah, because this is a straight direct sequel to Gen 1.
Mm.
But
It's a big game too. I mean,
we'll
you
get
start off in
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So, it takes place 3 years after Pokemon Red and Blue.
Ooh.
And from there, like that's literally in terms of plot, it's almost beat for beat the same game.
It's just a lot easier.
It's an easier game for sure. It's a much better, more polished game.
Oh yeah, the animations in Crystal, for example, that's really neat.
So you start off, and I think it's New Barktown. Right?
Yes, and one cool thing about this game, before we get to that, is that there is a clock mechanic, like time mechanic. So if you
It's
said
weird to me before you do that. They take that out of Gen 3, which I find really strange.
yeah, I don't get that. There's mods ROM hacks you can get online
Because like
that you
there's
can
like,
play that.
oh, evolve Wurmple at the night, you'll get Cascoon. There's no day-night cycle. What you talking about?
I just realized I could play Pokemon Gen 2 on my N64 EverDrive 64. We can play
You could.
Wow, I mean, I couldn't trade with anything, but I could definitely have it.
That's topic for another day.
I know.
Yeah, there's a clock, there's a day-night cycle, and certain Pokemon only appear at night. This kid just never sleeps.
Yeah, no, he never does. There's no beds that he sleeps in usually. I mean, there might be. Is there the old lady in this game where you sleep in
Yeah,
her
there's
bed?
places you can rest. There's places you can rest. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, the day and night cycle thing is really cool. I love it because it just adds some depth to the game. Like, okay, there's like how many new Pokemon?
100 something.
101,
100 something. Yeah.
102 or so. I don't know. Uh, and some
Yeah.
of them can be only caught during certain times or during outbreaks, which even then they're still rare.
So
Uh,
now, one thing is you're introduced to Professor Elm, who's like the new Professor Oak,
yeah, this is a
and
reoccurring thing.
he gives you your choice of 3 starter Pokemon, just like the original. And this is the case in every game aside from one. The starter is always going to be Grass, Fire, or Water. The only time it's not is in Pokemon Yellow and Pokemon Let's Go. That's it.
Yeah,
Um,
in the main series games anyway, because
yeah, exactly.
unless you count the GameCube games,
Yeah, I'm not talking about like Coliseum where you start with like EV's evolutions and then actual EV and XD.
Yeah,
So your choices are the grass type Chikorita, the water type Totodile, and the fire type Cyndaquil. Just pick Cyndaquil. You're better
I
off.
was I was wrong and picked Chikorita because I'm a weirdo. I pick grass
Why
types.
would you pick Chikorita?
I don't know why I like grass types as a kid, so I must have been foreshadowing to
I don't
smoking pot.
I don't hate grass types. I just don't like. I think Cyndaquil is just the obvious best choice here.
Yeah, but I always go with the grass type. I don't know why.
I do in Gen 3. Gen 3 I do, but we'll talk about that later.
Same here.
But so and then you just kind of go on your Pokemon adventure. There's not really much plot outside of that.
You first got to go meet Professor,
Oak,
well, Mr. Pokemon, I guess.
who's it's
Uh,
Professor Oak.
Well, no, there is a guy named Professor Pokemon, and then Professor Oak is there.
Yeah, so he gives you a Pokemon egg, which has Togepi.
When do you
And
get the
then
Pokedex?
not too long after that,
Okay.
and then some douchebag steals another Pokemon.
Yeah, and his name is canonically what?
Silver.
Silver? Okay.
And I think he's Giovanni's son.
Yes, he is. In Heart Gold Soul Silver, they elaborate on this event a little bit.
But he's a dick. Um,
He really is.
he progresses as the game goes on, and he starts to caring more about his Pokemon. But
Not by much because he still like thinks that his Pokemon are weak or
I mean,
you're
he gets a Crobat, which you can only get through friendship. So I mean,
yeah, or he thinks like your Pokemon are weak. That's why my Pokemon can't do it. It's like what? I don't know. I can't remember his dynamic. He's always like pissy, and then he's like, eh.
yeah. But so basically, it's the same thing. You go through the 8 gym leaders. Who I'm going to be honest, outside of Gen 1, I don't really remember the gym leaders all that well.
I know
I know
Blackthorn City.
the first one is a flying gym.
Yeah, Falconer.
Falconer, I think is his name.
Yeah, or Faulkner.
The second one, I don't remember at all.
There's the water or the strength one, fighting one over there on. What was that island called?
I know the third one is the fucking Miltank. Oh, second
Yeah,
one's Bug. Second one's Bug.
Bug. Oh yeah,
Third one is the normal type of Whitney's Miltank.
that thing was a bitch in my first run as a kid, but once I figured out you see a fighting type, you were set.
Then there's the Ghost type guy.
Yes, I don't remember his name. He has a Gengar.
5.
Uh,
Was that fighting?
Is it the Signwood Island one
I don't
or
remember.
Signwood Island? Because there is one that's a fighting type,
I,
which is that one. Then
I
there's
don't.
the
I know there's the
oh,
fighting
then
type.
Jasmine.
Jasmine's 6.
Okay.
So she's the electric. She's the electric type of lighthouse, right?
So it must go Signwood for 5, her for 6, and then Blackthorn for or
7.
for the fuck that place is called for 7 because it's a
That's
dragon.
no. Dragon's 8.
Oh, I
Seven's
thought there
ice.
was I thought there was 7.
No, there's 8 gyms because 7's ice.
Oh,
And then 8's dragon, which is interesting because you don't just get the gym for. You have to beat her and then go do another quest, and then she'll give you a badge. It's
yeah.
interesting.
I think Crystal has it a little different, but not by much.
I never played Crystal, so I'm not sure.
Crystal is just basically Gen 2 plus.
But then you fight the Elite Four, which Koga is a part of now, which is
Yeah, he upgraded.
and Lance is the champion this time. You don't fight your rival as the final boss, even though you still do fight him. You still have to deal with Team Rocket,
Bruno's still there too.
Bruno, and
Yeah.
then you're halfway done with the game.
Yeah, you think that you'd be done, but thanks to our belated Satoru Iwata, he was able to compress the game down really, really, really well, and they were able to fit the entirety. Well, yes,
All
but
of Kanto is really in there.
yeah, I mean, obviously it's not the full scale because it's a Game Boy Color game.
Oh, dude, if they did a fucking full remake of this on the Switch,
Oh, don't tell me that because they'll fuck it up.
we got it for Gen 1. Give us a Gen 2 one.
Well, here's the problem. They're gonna do a Let's Go version, and I'm gonna hate it.
That's fair.
That's why I don't want them to do it because I'm scared.
But, like,
that
yeah,
they'll-
you can fight all the gym leaders again, which is really cool.
So you got a total of 16
Except for
badges.
Giovanni. Instead of Giovanni, it's blue.
Yeah, Giovanni's nowhere to be found in this game.
But then after you do all of that,
Apparently he was gonna appear in this game in early beta things.
but then after you do all of that, you go to Mount Silver, and Red is waiting for you up top.
There's a weird theory about this. There's a theory that the protagonist, die. I'm like, what? After Red beats you? I was like, what the fuck?
Dark.
I know. It was probably just some dumb creepypasta from the early 2010s, man. It was some theory. I don't know. I don't know if that was what the kinetic. What's the canonical ending to Pokemon Gold and Silver?
They fight.
Yeah, who canonically wins, you or him?
You.
Okay, and then it's just
It just ends.
and it plays the credits.
Mhm.
What the fuck?
In terms of legendary hunting,
What happens in Heart Gold, Soul Silver? Same thing.
same thing.
What the hell?
In terms of legendary hunting, there are your two cover art legendaries, which are Lugia and Ho-Oh.
Well, there's five. There's five in total and one mystical Pokemon.
So this was the only game where the cover art Pokemon is in both versions.
Yes.
But in Silver, Ho-Oh is level 70, and in Gold, Lugia is level 70.
Yeah. So they just reverse the level rules because you're not going to be able to get the opposite one in either version until far later in the game.
Yeah, exactly. But you can get both in both versions.
Yeah. I like Gold the most. I don't know why.
I'm more of a Silver guy, probably because I like Lugia better.
I like Lugia, but I don't know. I like the Gold cartridge.
And then this is the first game that has everyone's favorite roaming legendaries.
Yeah. Did I tell you what happened in Leaf Green?
No, you didn't.
I ran into one of the legendary dogs by accident.
Did you kill him?
No, I caught him.
Was it Suicune?
I think so, because I started with a Charmander.
Yeah, so it was Suicune.
Yeah. At least I think I did, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I had to get a Master Ball from a friend to catch him.
Yeah, I got lucky.
Yeah, but they as soon as you see them and you hit them, they run.
Yep. You have to
Catching
use.
these three are a nightmare.
I don't know what the best status effect is, but you definitely want to get their health low to at least yellow or red. And then what is the best sleep?
Sleep, probably.
Yeah, because I don't know if paralysis or sleep is better. I don't know what the percentages are. Uh, Even then, they can still run while they're asleep, so they're sleep running. So you want to
You
use
need to
mean.
you need to mean look them so they don't run away.
Yeah, the best way to get that is just get a Golbat and just level it up, and then eventually, especially if it's a Crobat, it'll learn mean look, and boom, you're set. Until Crobat dies, but uh, or you can just throw quick balls, but you can't really get them a bunch in this game. So, oh
And
well.
in Crystal, because there's a third version called Crystal, you have to catch all three of them before you can get Ho-Oh.
And Lugia,
No, I don't think Lugia's tied to them.
wow, that's stupid.
Well, Lugia is tied into Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres, and Ho-Oh is tied into Entei, Raikou, and Suicune.
You know, it's not really hard to run into them. You just
No,
gotta
it's
go.
just getting them to stay in the ball is annoying.
Yeah, to find them, just go into a route. First Pokemon, if it's not them, leave the route, and if you happen to run back into another route, just search that route. Nothing, swap to the other route, and just keep going back and forth until eventually one pops up. I did that in one of my games, and it just was like, bam, got 'em quick. I think it was Latios, but
That's a story for a different day.
yep.
But yeah, no, they're dicks, for sure. And then there's Celebi.
Yeah, that one us Americans, I don't think we never got until the 3DS re-release of it, like officially that is, because it
Correct.
was just implemented into the game. You didn't have to do the cellular device, the thing that they used back then to communicate with your Game Boy.
Correct.
Yeah, so what I did was I quickly beat Crystal, did the Celebi event, and transferred to Pokemon
Okay,
Home.
I have a serious question for you.
What?
After you caught the dog, did you drop knock your game down the stairs and break your gaming.
No, I didn't cause. I didn't cause a chaotic reset. The fact that the game was still running after, like, the cartridge sticking out like that far out of a Game Boy Advance SP and hitting all the stairs going down. It's like, what the fuck?
So, couple things too. We only really talked about the plot and the legendaries. In terms of the gameplay, it's very similar, but
It
they added
changed the
they added
values.
they added a couple things that make the game bounce. One, you can actually see how much experience your Pokemon gain now.
Like, yeah, not by numbers, but just a bar now.
I mean,
Yeah.
which is great. It helps a lot, actually.
I believe they added special defense.
Yes, so they split the special stat into two. So it's now
So,
special attack and special defense. So psychics are no longer as broken.
right. They
And on
added
top of
steel
that,
types.
they added two new types, steel and dark. Dark is basically saying, hey, by the way, psychic, go fuck yourself.
I think is it Dark stronger against Ghost, or is that the other way around?
Dark might be good against ghost. I'm not sure. I know it's super effective against psychic.
But for some odd reason, Poison is strong against Dark.
So's fighting, isn't it?
I don't know. Huh.
They added pre-evolutions now.
Yeah, you got Igglybuff. You've
Pichu,
got Pichu. You got Magby.
Magby, Elekid.
Yeah.
The Pokemon that were just basics now have baby forms.
Yeah, and it's necessary
Clefty
now if you
Pokemon.
want to get Pokemon with certain moves.
Yeah, I think you need to have a Pichu to get Voltec.
Gen 3, I know you needed a light bulb held by Pikachu and breed
Pichu.
it, and you get a Pichu, that new Volt Tackle.
A breeding, that's a thing now because Pokemon now have genders.
Yeah, I think it's kind of fucked up, Mr. Mime.
Because of his name.
Yeah.
So his name in Japan wasn't Mr.
No.
No.
Huh.
So,
We fucked up.
yeah.
Transgender, Mr. Mime. Oh well. That's okay.
They/them mime.
Mr. They Mime.
Yeah. There are now new evolutions for certain Pokemon by holding items. So, like, for example, Onix with a metal coat, if you trade him over, will evolve into a new Pokemon, Steelix. So they added evolutions to Pokemon now, too.
I hate this concept a little bit because each version you only have one of that item, and there's usually two Pokemon that require
Yeah,
to have
like
that one item.
Steelix, and Scizor.
Yeah, and Scizor is badass looking.
I would much rather have Scizor than Steelix.
Yes, I need
I
it
mean,
for completion's sake, though.
it is cool that they added evolutions to old Pokemon. Like, that is cool. I like that.
Yeah, but I did entice trading though, in terms of like your friends. Like, hey, I need to get I want to
Like,
get
hey,
a
you have an
Scizor.
Onix with metal coat. I got a Scyther with metal coat. Let's trade and then trade back.
Yeah, boom. There you go. You both get the data, and yeah, that's what me and my cousin did years ago when we were like preteens, probably. I don't know. It was a fun time.
It's
He would
funny.
play it.
There's one Pokemon they added
What?
that was Houndour and Houndoom.
I love
You could
those.
only find him in Kanto.
Really?
Yep, you can only find him in Kanto. Ironically,
Failure.
like that is some ironic shit because he's a new Pokemon.
He became an invasive species in Kanto, or he migrated. I don't know.
He's an invasive species in fucking whatever the region in Gen 9 is.
Yeah, he's everywhere.
Yeah. I need to finish Scarlet and Violet at some point.
Don't play it now, because if you play it, you might lose your save data.
Good to know. Anyway,
Yeah.
for the soundtrack, phenomenal soundtrack.
Oh yeah, everything just sticks out. One thing that always sticks out to me is Goldenrod City and the bug catching
Oh,
area, I
the
think.
bug catching contest.
Not the contest music, but just the area of the park. Oh my god. Like the music is so serene.
Yeah, I love the battle themes in this game too.
Yeah, fucking Lance and
Oh,
Red.
so
Oh.
Red's theme. Oh my god.
I mean, it's Lance and Red's themes. So, I mean, what do you really think is whose is whose?
Oh man. Oh no, Red's theme is the best.
Yeah.
Graphics much better than last time.
Yeah. I mean, it's still obviously a Game Boy game, but this one was more with Game Boy Color in mind.
Yeah, this is one of the best looking games on the Game Boy for sure.
Yeah. It is impressive shit, the Game Boy as well. So, Game Boy Color. So,
Yeah. Oh, then Crystal is Game Boy Color exclusive.
yeah. I think it was also just due to size capacity, too.
Yeah, because they added some stuff, so it had to be only on Game Boy Color.
And they had to add, like, the phone functionality, which I don't think the old Game Boys could really,
There
you
was
know.
also a thing called a time machine function, which I think allowed you to trade with Gen 1.
Yes, and they couldn't know any HMs, and they couldn't know any moves that were Gen 2 exclusive.
Yep.
And you couldn't have any Gen 2 Pokemon in your inventory.
Yeah, it was
Very,
strange.
it was clunky, dude.
I mean, at least they tried.
Yeah, it was so picky on what you had, because not only that, if you had a Pokemon that you wanted to trade that was compatible with Gen 1, you had to make sure you had moves that were taught to it that were compatible with Gen 1. So you had to go make it forget a move, learn something different just to get over. It's such a pain in the
There's
ass.
another thing I have to talk about because people obsess over this now.
And what's that?
And it started in this game. Fucking shiny Pokemon.
I obsess over it sometimes. I go through phases.
Shiny Pokemon are Pokemon with a different color. That's all they are! They're not special! Shut up!
They're a rare one of a kind
Oh my
mine.
god, it's just a fucking Microsoft Paint recolor. They're nothing special. They're not any better. They just look different. They're just different colors. It's not
what
that
if
deep, guys.
I like those colors?
Oh my god, it's not. Who gives a fuck? I'm not gonna spend 70 fucking hours grinding over and over again to have a fucking 0.11% chance that I can find a fucking shiny tentacool. I don't care.
I mean, in the newest generation, you can probably find a shiny in like 15 minutes.
I have a guy I work with who has a bunch of games running constantly over and over. He just has them running to just capitalize on his shiny hunting.
What do you mean running constantly?
Like he has like 8 or 9 Pokemon games constantly running at one time to capitalize on shiny catching. He just has them
And
going and going and going and going on auto loop.
how does he make him do the auto loop?
I don't know. I don't know how he does it, but he fucking rigged a way to do it.
Huh.
And I'm like, Jordan, it's not that deep, bro. Jordan, shout out to you.
Yeah, I started collecting a bunch of shiny Pokemon. I trade them on the black market in
I have
Discord.
a couple of shiny Pokemon,
Yeah,
and I don't care
it's,
that much.
it's just kind of cool. You're like, oh, that's neat.
Like the only one I'm really like, oh, that's nice with is Rayquaza.
Yeah, it was
I think that one's cool.
Yeah, there's some that are really fucking cool
But
though.
generally speaking, I don't get the hype for shiny Pokemon. I really don't. Call me an anarchist. Call me sacrilegious. I don't care. I don't get the hype for shiny Pokemon.
People obviously know that hunt shinies like me know there's no sad differences. We just like if we see the alternate color, we're like, I like that. I want that. And it's the idea of having something rare. It's like getting a rare Pokemon card, you know?
You guys are lunatics.
Well, you collect a bunch of figures, so you're a lunatic, and I collect games, so I'm also a lunatic.
People who watch my channel know I collect figures. That's like the whole point of my channel, mainly.
That's true.
But aside from better graphics, better gameplay, or improved gameplay, um, playing this, you can never ever go back to Gen 1 and feel. It's just not possible.
Oh, I've almost played through all of Gen 1 Pokemon Yellow on 3DS. I stopped because I was just like, I can't.
Gen 2 is it's one of those sequels that just completely obliterates the original.
Yeah, it's a little bit easier, but yeah, it really just is so much better with its pacing. And
Better pacing, just more satisfying gameplay, a better story. It's not much, but it's better.
yeah, you won't really get a great story till Gen 5.
Yeah, that's the only one with a story. A better gameplay loop, much better graphics, better sprite quality. Um,
You get
it's
higher quality music,
it's
probably.
not easy to find nowadays, because the 3DS eShop, I believe, is done.
I mean, technically, they're not hard to find. People just overprice them.
Hmm. That's what I'm saying. They're not super easy to obtain. Um,
Yeah, they're not easy to attain for a good price.
exactly.
I have my cart, but I think it was custom made, so it might be a bootleg, but it still works.
I have Silver downloaded on my 3DS. So
I have Crystal downloaded onto there.
there you go.
They might
So
they might bring it to the Switch after the eShop shuts down.
yes, because Switch Online did add Game Boy, so they add Pokemon soon. I don't know why they haven't yet,
Give it time. Give it time.
but this is one of my favorite Pokemon games for sure.
Oh yeah, same. I had a sad ending with mine though.
Okay, enlighten the audience.
I played it and I was damn near complete with my Pokedex, and the battery died.
No!
Yeah. Uh,
Oh no!
yeah, so I had to open it and replace it with a new battery. Now it saves again.
Oh man.
And I don't want to go back and play it on the cartridge. So if I'm ever gonna play it, I might just play it on my EverDrive 64
Oh bro, that's so terrible.
or on the Switch.
Oh, I'm so sorry, man.
It hurt. My Pokemon Red battery hasn't fucking died yet. I don't know why.
So your Pokemon Red battery hasn't died, but Gold.
How did Red not die? Because it suffered concussions down the stairs.
That's
Feel me?
fucking crazy.
I think that Moltres gave it a second new life.
It is a Phoenix.
Yeah, it killed all my Pokemon and from the ashes rise a new file.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I just invented a creepypasta. I should have wrote it down on the internet
You
years
should
ago.
have. You should have.
Yeah, that'd be
So
famous.
here's what I'm thinking.
What about the remakes?
That we'll talk about that when we do Gen 4, because that was technically a Gen 4 release.
All right.
Oh, there's still a couple things we gotta talk about from Gen 2.
What?
So Pokemon Stadium 2 was also released during Generation.
Yeah.
And that was fun.
Oh,
It's Stadium, but
could you play the Pokemon games to the transfer pack on there? All of them?
yeah.
Nice, nice. Uh,
I'm trying to think if there are any other Gen 2 spin-off games.
speaking of that, what's funny because I have the EverDrive 64 X7 because of this new build. Now, because this has been like an emulation issue forever, Pokemon Stadium 2 is now playable on the thing. So that's pretty neat.
Are there any other Generation 2 spin-off games? There was
And
Pokemon Puzzle Challenge on the Game Boy that I used to have.
I don't know, dude.
That game was a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy?
What's that?
Playing Pokemon Stadium 2 off the EverDrive, you can still make it compatible with the transfer pack.
Really?
Yeah, because the game is running off the cartridge off the system. So, yeah, it's
So-
pretty neat.
Generation 2, love it. If you haven't
Yeah.
played it yet, I'm really, really surprised. So Alex, do you know what we're going to talk about the next time we do one of these videos?
I don't know, but I'm gonna say if you're gonna play it, go ahead and take your Wii U, modify that shit, download a DS ROM of Gen 2 onto that motherfucker, and play that shit.
The next time we discuss a game, it will be Mario 64.
Mamma mia.
Until that time, I hope you enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed this video. And
Let's get out of here.
I hope you guys enjoy the future content we have coming on our channels. Alex, what do you have coming up on your channel after this?
I have no idea, man.
Well,
Just stuff.
yeah, I got more figures reviews coming on. I have a first time Dead Space player that I'm gonna do a first impressions video on Dead Space, and that'll be on the channel. I'm gonna make her do it, and then we got more good stuff coming on both of our channels. Just look forward to that. And next time we do one of these will be for Super Mario 64. Until that time, you guys, thanks for watching. Take care.
Oh yeah.